Hello, Editing Heather here. So this I'm putting in at the beginning of this video because the information I had when I filmed that video is no longer relevant and was proven to be false information that was being spread. So I didn't want to continue with that, and I'd like kind of feed into like the panic that had been around that situation. But I did want to come on here and talk about how lately the COVID-19 rhetoric has led to a spike in a lot of hate crimes and just like a lot of hate and negativity towards Asian Americans in this country. So right under the Black Lives Matter movement link, I'm going to put two more links. They are AAPI links. The first one is AAIP Women Led, and the second one is AAIP Stop Hate or Stop AAIP Hate. Both of those links are going to be down in the description. Please check those out. They're going to be good links to help out the Asian American community as much as we can, and also just spread information instead of hate and disgusting ways of dealing with things. My lovely little cat is giving me a tap. So please check out those links, and let's get on with the video. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. Peep the new makeup look, the new Animal Crossing palettes. Wow, wow, wow. So this is my last, like, romance-themed video of the month, because, you know, Valentine's Day was a week or two ago. And this video might be more for younger people, because I might be saying some stuff that, like, if you're an older person, like, around my age, watching this video, it might be like, well, yeah, no shit. But some people might not know this, some people might not realize this at this point, and some younger people might not know this as well. And I know half the time on YouTube, your audiences tend to be a lot younger than what you might necessarily be aiming for. So I want to just educate anybody that I can about dating guilt. And it's not necessarily the dating guilt in the sense of like, you don't have to go out with somebody if you don't want to. In the sense of like, you know, you hear a lot of stories about young girls turning down, you know, people that ask them out on dates or to prom and then getting killed. It's not necessarily on that spectrum, on that end, even though that is incredibly serious and we should be doing whatever we can to protect young women, young people in general, but unfortunately young women kind of are at the forefront of that. But I'm talking about dating guilt in the sense of saying yes to a date, whether you feel pressured or you genuinely want to go on the date, but having the guilt come afterwards, whether it's you don't really see it going anywhere past that date, whether you like, you did enjoy the date, but then for whatever reason you just don't want to continue. That's the kind of dating guilt I want to talk about, and that is where I'm just gonna straight up be like, don't feel guilty. And it's incredibly easier said than done, because especially young women, and obviously, again, queer people, young men, like, it doesn't matter, whoever you are, whatever your gender, sexual identity is, whatever. Society basically has us trained that if you say no to a cishet white man at any age, that you're a terrible person and you're not allowed to say no to them. And that's bullshit. And this is maybe not dating advice, but like just reaffirming that if you want to say no, then that's it. That's the end of the conversation. No is a full sentence. It's not the beginning of a sentence. It's not up for argument. No is a full sentence. Point blank. And in the sense of like, don't feel guilty, again, easier said than done. It's, if you start to feel guilty for whatever reason, like, for instance, if you agree to go on a date with somebody because you know, feel like you want to go on a date with them, whatever reason, but then throughout the date, you're just getting weird vibes, you're just not really feeling it, and then when they're like, oh, can we do this again? And you want to be like, no, I really don't, but you kind of hesitate, just think a moment about why you're hesitating. Was it because that person gave off really weird vibes? Did they say something that as soon as they said it, you were like, aha, ooh, for whatever reason, whether it was like a disgustingly racist comment or just for whatever reason made you kind of, yikes. Was it just you weren't enjoying yourself in the same way that you would enjoy yourself with your friends? And I say that specifically because your friends, if they're good friends, will always, you know, give you good advice and help you out. And even if you don't necessarily want to hear it, they'll probably, if you ask them for advice, but you don't necessarily want to hear the advice, they'll usually be like, do you want the truth or do you just want what you want to hear? At least in my friend group. If you're just not feeling it and not having fun the same way you might have fun with your friends, that's important, because how you feel with your friends should be how you feel with any romantic partner. There should be a basis of friendship there. So if you're really just kind of bored, that's totally valid and that's totally fair. You shouldn't have to be with somebody just because there's nothing else wrong with them other than being boring. Because you're allowed to want fun and excitement. And that's my other thing. I feel like I'm just yelling a lot of information at you and speaking really fast. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I feel like I get very in some videos, so I apologize. Again, we in this society, in this culture, are taught that if we say no to a cishet white man, something is wrong with us, not them. And it doesn't even necessarily that something is wrong with them. It's just sometimes you're not interested in a person for whatever reason. So telling them, no, don't want to go on this date with you, or I don't want to go on a date with you again, shouldn't be a very laborious guilt thing on your end. And again, it's more of me just reaffirming that you don't have to feel guilty about that kind of thing. And a third time, easier said than done. I'm fully aware. Even I do it. I am somebody that's like, I'm a bad bitch. I don't need nobody. I don't need to be in a relationship, this and this. I'm perfectly fine on my own, because I genuinely am pretty okay on my own and everything. But then anytime somebody has been interested in me that I have not been interested in them and I've turned them down, I still want to be like, yeah, sorry. Even though I'm not sorry, genuinely sorry, but it's a reflex. Saying sorry and even if you don't feel guilty, kind of showing guilt by apologizing is an immediate reflex, especially as a woman. And I do it. I do it all the time. So it's a reaffirming for both of us that you don't have to feel bad that you're not interested in somebody. Same thing with looks. Even if this person is perfectly fine, there's nothing toxic about them. They're not incredibly racist, misogynistic, because people hide it really well. Even if the first couple dates you don't know it. And even they might be, somebody that is, a white person that is actively trying to better themselves in systematic racism and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with not being interested. There's nothing wrong with, trusting your gut. There's nothing wrong with just not feeling it. Being physically attracted to somebody and wanting to date them is not a shallow thing. And a lot of people try to perpetuate that as being shallow, but have you noticed the people who perpetuate it as being shallow are white men? Because white men think no matter what, they are the absolute fucking top tier of everything. And they're really not. And it's okay to not be attracted to somebody and not want to date them because of it. It turns really shitty on your end if you're like, yeah, he's wicked fucking ugly, I would never date him. Obviously don't do that. But if you're just like, yeah, he's not my type, I don't think I want to go on a date with him, that's perfectly fine. If he is your type and you're just not sharing the same interests and you're not vibing with them, that's perfectly fine. Again, this is probably more for younger people. I want you guys as younger people to know, especially my serious series videos and things like this. And again, the other episode of Things You Didn't Know Were Misogyny. I want you to know from a young age, if you're watching this when you're younger. All right, we had a special guest, but I'm going to continue. I want younger people to hear this and really listen to what I'm saying, because it's not me trying to be like, I'm an adult, I know what I'm talking about, because I'm 25 and I have no fucking clue what's going on at any given moment. But a lot of it is from experience, and I hope I'm doing this, again, with the serious series, this little mini series. I hope it's coming across as more trying to be a helpful older friend or an older sister. I don't want you guys to hear it and think of it the same way I did when my mom said it, my older brother said it, in the sense of like, yeah, whatever, like you just don't want me to have any fun. Like that doesn't actually happen. Do you get what I mean? It is from a lot of these are from personal experience, and I want to help as much as I can, because when you learn things as a young person and then you start going forward in life with those ideas in your head, it gets harder to unlearn them the older you get. A lot of things my mom and I talk about sometimes, I just make faces at her because I don't understand a lot of what she's saying or where she's coming from. But she was taught at such a young age, and it was reinforced from such a young age, that it's just like fact for her. And it's really hard to look at it and be like, oh shit, that's not okay. Like, I was gonna give an example, but that kind of has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But do you understand what I'm saying? I hope that any younger people that are watching this understand what I'm getting at in the try not to feel guilty as much as possible, because you don't owe an explanation to anybody. Obviously, don't be an asshole about it, but if the person that like you turn down is an asshole about it, that's when you fight back just as hard. There's so much happening outside my window. Oh my god. You know what I mean? Like if they give you that energy, match that energy. But you don't owe an explanation to anybody. No is a full sentence. And that's point blank, whether it's as simple as turning somebody down or as serious as sexual assault, unfortunately. No is a full sentence. And that's the only thing you owe people, is a yes or a no. Even then you don't really owe a yes or a no, but at like, putting everything else aside, that's all you owe people. Would you like to go out with me? No. Well, why? Because I said no. But that doesn't tell me why. Well, I said no, and that's it. That's all you owe anybody. You don't even really owe it to them. That's, I'm gonna like talk myself in circles, because I've said it, if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I probably should have scripted this. But just know that if you turn somebody down for a date or a second date, you don't have to feel guilty about that. And you're probably looking at me and rolling your eyes. I know. But you do not have to feel guilty about that. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to be interested, uninterested, not vibing, fully vibing. Like, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to be your own person, have your own agency, control what's happening in your life. And that's just a fact. Alright, so I'm gonna cut this off because I'm gonna be talking in circles again and again. I do that a lot in these videos because I know kind of what's going on in my brain and I know how I feel, but I'm not great at communicating that. So I'm gonna leave it where it is. Please keep checking out the link in the description for the BLM movement, and that is where I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye! Right. She gets ready.
I love you. I dropped stuff off at the table.
I love you too. Thank you. My brother came by, so now I'm just waiting for him to leave so I can talk again.